So let's finally talk about that Mandalorian episode. I have a lot of things to say, and once again, this is not going to be a review of the episode. Basically, I'm just going to be kind of going over certain points and giving my overall thoughts. So, I mean, it's kind of a review, but it's not an overall structured review. There's just a few main plot points and main things and things for the future of the show that I really want to get into and just give my thoughts on it. But with that being said, be sure and comment down below your thoughts on this episode, as well as you can respond to some of the points that I'm talking about to give your own thoughts and opinions. But let's get started with the main thing, and that is Ahsoka Tano. Now, we were not really surprised at all by seeing her in this episode. The title of this episode was leaked a week back that was titled The Jedi, and then of course Bo-Katan told Mando to go see Ahsoka Tano on the planet of Corvus in this city, and so it was not surprising at all that we saw her. But for me, that was really surprising was the fact that we saw her so early in it. I was expecting her to show up midway through, and then the action will start. But the very first shot is her. Well, not really of her, but it's of where she is at. And then we see her in the very first scene, and she is just going absolutely ballistic on these people. It was like something from Rambo, and she's hiding in the fog, and you can see her white lightsabers, which just look absolutely amazing. And right there, I was just pretty blown away, because like I said, I expected her to show up about midway through, and the first half of the episode would be Mando trying to find this city on Corvus, but no, she is showing up right off the bat, and she is being Ahsoka Tano and doing what Ahsoka Tano does best. And I really just want to say before we move on from the topic of Ahsoka, I really am happy with Rosario Dawson as this character. I think she not only looks the part a lot better than what I expected. Going from an animated character to a real life, whenever you've never seen the real life in the first place, it can be weird, but honestly, it felt really natural, and when I saw it for the first time, I didn't think of anything of it other than it looks really good, and I really do think that Rosario Dawson did an amazing job with her, and sort of having that Ahsoka vibe and how she moves, how she holds her lightsabers, how she swings. Of course, a lot of that's the directing and the choreographer and stuff, but a lot of it is as well the actor themselves, and so I really want to give props to her because she did an amazing job, and I really hope we see more of her, which is something I want to talk about is, will we even see Ahsoka in live action again within this show? And I think so. I think even within this season, season 2, I think she'll show up at some point. Now, the question is, what will she be there for? I have no idea. There's so much up for grabs and so much speculation on where the show is going to go. Yes, I know a lot of it apparently got leaked, and so I have been staying as far away from that as possible, and I highly recommend you guys stay cautious as well, because apparently it's some pretty major things. But yeah, I do think Ahsoka will show up. I can't see them making this huge entrance for her and having this pretty major plot point with Thrawn as well. Now, I highly doubt that's going to be a plot point within this show itself. I can't see them adding that within it. There's just so much going on at once right now, and there's a lot to take in with this episode. And that's one of the, I don't want to say flaw, because when I first watched this episode, right after I watched it, I had no idea what to think, because so much happened that you need to watch this episode multiple times, and then it really had me feeling like how I felt after leaving The Last Jedi for the first time. And with this show and that movie, when I first watched it and after I left, I didn't dislike it, but I didn't absolutely love it because I just didn't know what to think. There was just so much that happened with Ahsoka, and then Baby Yoda, or Grogu as we now know, and then they decided to add that Thrawn plot on right at the end. It's just a lot of name dropping, and I felt kind of puzzled by it. I just didn't know what to think. I was like, okay, that's fine, but I was like, what's going to happen with Mandalorian? This is the Mandalorian, you know? But again, if it's for the story and it works with the story, I am completely fine with that. I've said that from the very beginning, and I think with the direction they're taking, Ahsoka does work with it, and I am very happy with it. But let's talk about Grogu, which is a little bit of a somewhat controversial. Most people seem to really love the name. A lot of people don't like that we got the backstory. I personally am fine with it. I think Grogu is a fine name. It works for him. It fits his character. It's hilarious how Baby Yoda, or the child, or Grogu, I don't know what to call him anymore, looks up whenever someone calls his name. I don't know, it was just funny. And we also got the backstory to him that he was raised on Coruscant by a few masters, and we don't know who they are, but we do know that he obviously was hidden from Order 66, and the memes that came out of this were absolutely hilarious. But like I said, there are a handful of people that did not enjoy this episode, and one of them is a huge Star Wars YouTuber, Star Wars Explained, and he seemed pretty disappointed with this episode. He said the action was good and stuff, but he just didn't like Grogu. He didn't really like Ahsoka being in it. He's very wanting to keep Mandalorian to itself, and you know me, I completely disagree with that. I think The Mandalorian needs to expand, and we need to see more of the rise of the First Order after the fall of the Empire. We need to see that stuff. Maybe not specifically in this show, but it needs to happen at some point, and if it's gonna be in this show, I am completely fine with it. So yeah, I am completely fine with learning the backstory to the child, and learning his name, Grogu, which I can't believe people are shocked by that, because they're not gonna keep him nameless. He's gonna have a name eventually. I mean, just making sense within the story, Mandalorian was either going to name him something, or we're going to find his backstory, and we're going to find his name. And so I really liked how Ahsoka connected with him and everything, and she completely rejects him, which doesn't surprise me. I really couldn't see them leaving Baby Yoda with Ahsoka Tano, and then Mandalorian goes off on his own trail. They have 4 seasons planned total. They just would not do that. It would not make sense for them. So I wasn't shocked that she rejected him and gave him back to the Mandalorian, because Baby Yoda, or Grogu, he looks up to him as his father. That's basically what he thinks he is, and that's kind of what he is to Baby Yoda anyways. I mean, he's taking care of him, he's raising him basically. He is a baby, even though he's 50 years old. I mean, Mandalorian, or Din, is his father, so Ahsoka obviously knows what happened with Anakin because of all the connections and emotion that he had and all that, and then he killed a bunch of children, so she clearly does not want to see that happen again, especially with someone like Baby Yoda, who's so naturally tuned and powerful with the Force. But there's one more aspect of this show, or this episode, that I really am intrigued to see what happens, and it's going to be pinnacle for the rest of the show. That is that Ahsoka Tano has told Mando to take Baby Yoda to this certain planet. I can't remember the name. I should probably do a little bit more research before I make these videos, but I'm just kind of rambling on here. And he is told to take this Baby Yoda to this certain planet with the Jedi Temple and take him to some mountaintop, I think it was. Basically, he's taking it to a certain location, and it's going to try and connect with the Force, and he's going to let Grogu choose its own path. And I find that really interesting, especially because she said that he could be calling out to a other Jedi somewhere in the universe. I don't know exactly how that would work, but I do have a video planned talking about what Jedi we could see show up in The Mandalorian. It's obviously gonna happen, I would think at least. I can't see them setting this huge plot point up and then it not being executed. So there's a few different Jedi in the universe. I am planning on making a whole video about it because there's a lot to talk about with that simple line right there. And so obviously that is more than likely gonna be what the next episode is about, is yes, Mando going to another adventure. He's supposed to go to another planet. I know a lot of people are getting tired of that, and I get it, but it's just kind of the premise of the show. But remember, we also have Moff Gideon, who has a tracking beacon on the Razor Crest, so we'll see where that goes. But guys, I am very happy with this episode after watching it a few more times. It's growing on me a lot, and I am glad to see that the story is expanding a ton, and we're meeting these characters. I hope they don't do too much fan service, and instead they focus a lot more on the story. If it's a good story, that's all I care about, and so I'm very curious to see where the future of the show goes. And just let me know in the comments down below, what Jedi do you think is going to come calling out to Grogu? What were your thoughts on Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka? Just let me know really anything down below. You can tell me how your weekend was, I don't care. I just like to get some conversation going in the comment section and stuff. I really enjoy talking with you guys through that. But yeah, I hope you all did enjoy this sort of review or ramble about this episode. There's a lot to take in. There's a lot more to talk about that I didn't talk about. Again, this was not supposed to be a full-on review or breakdown or anything. It's just kind of how I'm doing my videos. But guys, I hope you all did enjoy this one. If you did, be sure and leave a like on it, as it really does help out the channel a lot. And if you're new, why don't you subscribe for more Star Wars news, gameplay, and more. And I'll hopefully see you in the next one.